So what we're going to do is we're here to expose it, let people tell their story, and let everybody in the public see the horrors of the court system in Suffolk County, New York.
Long Island Backstory. Long Island's news alternative to the Newsday Cablevision news monopoly. With Chief Correspondent Gary Jacobs.
Hi, I'm Gary Jacobs, and welcome to another edition of Long Island Backstory, where we're here at the 9/11 First Responders Memorial Park, located in Suffolk County, Long Island. Today we're here where they're adding 61 names to the wall, and as some of the speakers are going to talk about, today is not really a day of mourning. All these people have been mourned. It's a day of sadness, but this park is here to celebrate the heroes, the people who voluntarily went in to the pile after the World Trade Centers collapsed and tried to look for survivors. So these are true heroes, and I'm honored to be here today, a day where we remember them. And I think what's important today is that we see the names on the wall, and this will be here for eternity, but it's important to put a face to these people. These aren't just names. These are people who have mothers, fathers, their grandfathers, their sisters, their brothers, and we're going to try to talk to some of the families here today. But these are real lives. Every one of these people on this wall, this is a life that was lost. And I think for me, the important thing is that we never forget. We never forget what happened that day, because we can never let it happen again. We can't let history repeat itself.
God bless America. Land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the
And we're here with Beverly Mann, whose husband is being put on the wall today. Mrs. Mann, tell us a little bit about, we see a picture there of your husband. Tell us who your husband was and what he did and how he came to be there.
Well, who he was just a great guy. He was a wonderful husband, wonderful father, grandfather. His grandchildren could do no wrong, nothing. And he wanted to be a policeman originally, and I said it was too dangerous. I talked him out of that, so he became a fireman. And he studied, worked hard, became lieutenant, and he just loved it. He loved it.
How long was he a fireman?
21 years.
And he was down in the area where 9/11, was that where he was?
Yes, he left our house in Deer Park at 10 in the morning with two other firemen and one of the firemen's sons. They left at 10 in the morning, and they were down there a good 20 hours. And he went to 19 funerals. And then one day he came, and after the last, he said, I just can't do it anymore. 19.
So did these people in his company that he knew, or they just fellow firemen?
Fellow firemen. One lived in Deer Park, Ray Downey. He was a friend. He was a deputy chief.
So was he down there in the search after 9/11, with the cleanup and looking for survivors?
Well, he went that day.
So he was down there with all the smoke and everything. And,
that's how he got sick.
right. And what ended up happening to him?
Well, he wound up losing a kidney 3 to 4 years ago. Then it went into his bones. And thank God he wasn't in a lot of pain.
So just inhaling all that the fresh fumes, and right after it happened, and then it took a couple of years to get. Did he know that he was getting sick from that?
He never talked about it. No, he never talked about it. I don't know if he was in denial. He just never mentioned it. Even while he was sick, he never talked about it.
I mean, was he angry about that? Did he ever say he regretted that he went down there that day?
Never. No, he was very proud that he went down. He was just a good guy.
And who's here with you today to remember your husband being on the wall?
My children, my nephews, a friend, and my grandchildren. I have everybody here, and another friend over there.
And what does this wall mean to you, this park? And you're emotional about it. What does it mean that he's being remembered and being honored as a hero?
His name is on the wall. We came yesterday. His name is on the wall of sacrifice. And he would be very proud. He would be very proud.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your husband's service, and sorry for your loss.
God bless America. My home, sweet home.
We're here with Marty Aponte. He's the current president of the 9/11 First Responders Park. Marty, is great date today. Tell us what this park means to you and why you're so passionate. I know you live this park and you spend so much time on it. Why is this so important? You're involved in so many other things, but this is what I know that you're passionate about.
Yes, thank you for having me, Gary. Yes, it has been a passion and a sense of pride as well for all these heroes that we've lost over the years since 9/11. And this is a very sacred ground over here. And of course, it's one of a kind in the entire country and maybe in the entire world that's solely dedicated to all the responders that came post 9/11 and helped clean up the aftermath there. And unfortunately, we all thought, and they all thought, that the air quality and the surrounding areas were going to be okay. And to find out that after 15 years of losing people, and we continued to lose people, that people have gotten sick from various different illnesses and diseases. So this park here, as park president, is an honorable thing and such an American thing for me to do. And being that I'm a community activist and leader here in the town of Smithtown, where I've been born and raised here, it's a wonderful payback for myself because I've been fortunate to have my health and I didn't lose anybody on 9/11. And so if I can help with these families and these people that are in law enforcement, the fire departments, the volunteers, and all public service here, here in Suffolk County, Nassau County, and the tri-state area, and people from Pennsylvania as well, and Washington also. It just gives me a sense of pride and as being a true American here today. And unfortunately, we have to have these ceremonies. One in May and, of course, one in September. We don't want to, but we can never forget these men and women and these heroes that done so much for us and gave their all for the freedom that we have today.
Detective Edward Goller, NCPD. Joseph Fugel, NYPD volunteer. Ronald Richards, NYPD.
Okay, the park, we started 5 years ago. This was a lot, really nothing. We bought it from the county for $1. Everything you see on the property here is donated. The marble, the engravings in the marble, the names on the other side, the clock, everything you'll see in this park has all been donated. People gave so much time, energy, and money to get this park going. And it's the only one of its kind in the entire country. So it's very, very popular. You can see every year it's been growing. We add another 61 names today. And it's really a beautiful place. And people are coming now from all over, not only the area, but the state and the country just to visit.
So how many names are on the wall already?
Right now we have about 350 names.
And then you're adding how many more today?
61 names.
I see you have there's all the blank space over here. Do you plan on filling this up?
On the other side, yep. We believe that by the time this is done, it could be 3,000-4,000 names.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Do you know how many people are registered with the Zadroga Act so that they can get compensation if something happens? Do you have any idea how many people are on that list?
I think there are about 8,000 to 10,000. John would know more about that, John Feal, but there are so many people registered, and now with the new Zadroga bill being renewed, more and more people are registered. And you'll see when you walk around the park today, many of those people that are on the list are going to be here.
I think it says a lot that after all this time, that really the park keeps growing and the event is bigger, and you're expecting over 1,000 people here today on Long Island, which is pretty special.
Right. When we first did this, if we had 100 people, that was a lot. Now it's become, and this is twice a year, so having about 800 to 1,000 people today is incredible. It's sad also because most of these people are coming because of the names on the wall. And the names, as I said, every year are going, at the average of about 5, 6 a week sometimes.
Chad M. Milosevic, aerospace engineer. Detective James Fogg, NYPD. Mark J. Steiner, Department of Buildings. Joseph Morstadt, Sr., FDNY.
Sadly, more people are going on the wall, 61 today. But come September, I already have 14 names that are going on the wall. And next year, when we just do this event once a year, there'll be a lot more. But now that these men and women are getting health care for the next 75 years and they're getting compensated, they're going to be able to live somewhat of a normal life. And when I say somewhat of a normal life, their lives are never going to be the same as they were on 9/10/01.
Thomas Donahue, NYPD.
I accepted the key on behalf of the 9/11 community, on behalf of the Feal Good Foundation, and I wound up. I wanted to give. It wasn't mine. It was. I got it from the city, but I gave it to the museum. And on May 26th of this year, we're going to. It's going to be unveiled in the museum, and in memory of all these people on this wall, because the key. It represents what we did for the 9/11 community, and like I said, it was a lot of us that stepped up and did the right thing.
A. Garbutt Jeff, NYPD. New York State Trooper Dave M.
I see you're tracing your name on there. Tell us whose name it is that you're tracing.
Firefighter Roy Chelson of FDNY, and he was my brother.
Tell us a little bit about your brother, about his life and who he was.
He was born to be fireman, didn't realize it till in his mid-20s. Once he joined, he stayed in the same firehouse for 21 years. Responded with his house that morning, Engine 28, and he was one of the last ones to get out of the second tower before it fell. He's actually credited with saving the lives of 11 of his fellow firefighters. And as a result of that, there's 11 children born today that otherwise wouldn't have made it, right?
Lorenzo Pito Maldonado, Red Cross. Bless them all.
This is a real honor to be here year after year and be able to share these moments with you guys. This is for the heroes that are on that wall and for the heroes that sit here in front of us today. So this is a song called Freedom Ain't Free. It don't cost a thing to bow your head and pray. Time don't take money, but we spend it anyway. Oh, it's all about the dream and the freedom to chase. Well, he knew his life might be the price to pay. Now he won't need a welcome home, he won't need no cheering crowd. It was worth the price alone, just to make his mama proud. And it takes more than a man to be all he can be. Oh, freedom ain't free.
Well, I was given the cross while working as a chaplain for the Salvation Army at the site. And one of the steel workers, just one morning I came into work, handed it to me. It's steel from Tower 2 of the Trade Center. And I wear it in a way, it feels like I'm carrying the souls with me wherever I go. And one of my greatest rewards for wearing it, the mothers who lost their sons sometime will come and they'll hold on to it. And they'll say, oh, this is so heavy, and I remind them it's like a feather compared to the weight that they bear.
These colors never run. He won't need a welcome home. He won't need no cheering crowd. It was worth the price alone, just to make his mama proud. And it takes more than a man to be all he can be. Oh, freedom ain't free. It takes more than money, and it takes more than change. As long as there's a light that burns inside, then we will find a way. They won't be forgotten, no, they won't die in vain. And they fought for freedom, and that's where heroes are made. Now he won't need a welcome home. He won't need no cheering crowd. It was worth the price alone, just to make his country proud. And it takes more than a man to be all he can be. Oh, freedom, Maine, freedom, Maine, freedom, Maine, free.
Well, Robert Grossman was a cop in the city. He was in the 2-8. And that day, he was off, but he went down there. And he stayed down there for a couple of days, and he went home, but he kept going back. And I don't know how long he was down there for a while. And after everything settled down, one story I remember, his wife telling me that, and he wouldn't tell me a damn thing. But he came home covered in dust, and in the cold weather he had to strip down in the garage and hose himself down with cold water so he wouldn't bring it into the house. And then she had to do the uniform, you know, the crap that he was wearing right there. That went on for a while, and then he was fine. Went back to his precinct. But my son was more than just a number or a name. He was bigger than life. And I'll tell you one story about him. After he got sick, and he was in Sloan Kettering in one of the times, I don't remember what year, it was 07 or 08. He got sick in 06 and passed away in October of 09. He got sick in April of 06. He fought for 3.5 years. His lieutenant came in to see me, to visit him, and I was there and we talked, and he said something remarkable happened. And I said, what? He says, a couple of guys came into the precinct from the neighborhood and asked how Robert was. And I told them, and they said, well, tell him we asked and tell him we'll say a prayer for him. And I said, that's great. He says, no, what a remarkable thing about it was these were 2 guys he locked up. Yeah. Tells you the kind of cop he was. He was a big guy, 220, 30 pounds, 6 feet, a wrestler. Nobody messed with him, but he was such a softie and a sweetheart.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky.
After lobbying in Washington, one of the comments you made was that it was the system was even more broken than you would imagine. But now that the Zadroga bill has passed, has your faith been restored in the political system?
Not so much faith. I just, the fact that these guys had to work so hard for so long to get something done that should have been so easy, that will never get back. The fact that ultimately they got the right outcome is heartening, but process-wise, I'm not sure I don't think that I'll ever get over that.
And you think you still need to do more? You think now that this is done, that there's still more to be done to remember people?
I think there's always more to be done. But you see it in the amount of people that come out here, and the strength in this community and in communities around. I think their spirit, lives on beautifully. So.
And I saw your passion in Washington and the way you just really fought that this was so important to you. You have so many things to fight for.
Following the team, man. They set the example, and I followed along.
Great. Thanks for everything that you do. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need.
I see you here tracing the name. Whose name is it that you're tracing on the wall today?
Detective Greg Abadi. I used to work with him in emergency services.
And so you were in the emergency services as well. So were you one of the responders in 9/11?
Yes, sir.
And when did he pass away?
About 2 years ago, I believe.
Sharing all the world.
These individuals risked their lives. Many of them lost their lives, continue to lose their lives in service of the safety and health and well-being of the country they serve. And we have a responsibility to honor that commitment. If you don't honor that commitment, then you don't have much of a nation. And so it's such a foundational principle.
And the world will live as one.
Almighty, eternal God, as we stand on this hallowed ground to etch names of our honor roll of heroes, we are grateful for your care, protection, and provision for the many families still challenged with the aftermath of 9/11 illness, and those families that are going forward with their loved ones' names etched on these walls. We ask that you would touch them in a special way today. Bless them as they continue to go forward. And we ask, Lord, that you would extend your hand of protection, grace, and mercy over the men and women of our United States Armed Forces, our firefighters throughout the nation, and all law enforcement. We as a nation every day stand with a threat hanging over our heads, but we as a nation also have endured the Oklahoma City bombing, the World Trade Center attacks, and 9/11, and we will continue to overcome any evil that is presented to the people, the innocent people of this world. We're grateful, Father, for your continued strength, care, and protection demonstrated through these families going forward. Place in the hearts and minds of the young people, the children left behind, that they have a rich legacy to carry forward of the one that they lost but will never be forgotten, will always be remembered as heroes for rushing to save and not running in the other direction. May their example be one that our young people grow, inherit, and continue as we go forward in the years to come. Let this ground be a place of refuge and a place of reflection for those families in difficult times to know there is never a day that we cannot reach out and touch your almighty hand. Thank you for the blessing of this day and all those that have come to show their respect and to celebrate the heroes being remembered today.
For years you have helped bring attention to our cause, and we could have never achieved this victory without you. Pound for pound, John, you were one of the most funniest men on planet Earth.
I'm going to help him. It's right here on the platform.
More importantly, pound for pound, you are one of the most caring and generous human beings on planet Earth. On behalf of the 9/11 community, the Feal Good Foundation, the 9/11 Responders Remembered Park, and my dad, firefighter John F. McNamara, who is on this wall behind me, thank you.
Hoorah! Yeah!
Thank you very much. That was very kind. To see you grow up and already be a better man than John Feal is just, it warms my heart. John said that I should say something, and I said, I don't know what to say. And he said, you have to say something, and if you know anything about John Feal, he gets his way. So I'm always humbled when I'm in the company of Ray and John and all the other responders, and I'm always humbled when I'll meet a family or somebody will say thank you to me. And I just wanted to let you know that you don't ever have to thank me for anything, because I can never in my life repay the debt that you all gave to not just me, but to the city and to the country. We owe you, and we will continue to owe you forever. And I thought a lot about, when I was coming over here, what I wanted to say to you, and it's simply this. We've heard a lot about 9/11 and what we lost that day, and what you all lost. And today is a memorial to what you lost, and what you lost was unimaginable. But what we gained isn't talked about enough. And that's what this wall says to me. These names are permanent, tangible. You can touch them. You should know them. These are the names we should know, not the names of those that caused destruction. Too often, those are the names that are publicized and amplified and that everybody knows. These are the names you should know. And they will always be here, forever, for us to touch, to rub, and to gain strength from. Because what this memorial says to me is everything, which is we win. We will never run out of those that are courageous and brave and giving and selfless. It doesn't matter who attacks us. It doesn't matter where it comes from. This resource is unending. And we see it now, and we'll see it forever. And those that died on that day, and those that continue to suffer the health effects. And the reason I know that is there is not a name on that wall. There is not a man or a woman here who was there that day, who was on the pile, who, knowing what they know today, knowing how sick they might get, knowing that they might die, wouldn't do the same damn thing again. That is why today I mourn the loss and I celebrate the strength and what we gain. And I'm always just honored to be a part of it. So I thank you all so much. Thank you.